Hello and welcome to Audiotree Live. Today is Monday, March 26th, 2018, and we are very, very excited to have Field Report here with us in the studio today. Take it away whenever you're ready, guys.
Got a middle distant look again. Feel the unrelenting minute. Or a 60-second distance run. Gotta get out while you can get it. There was the weekend of the wedding, and I know somewhere there's videotape. Can you feel the river rising for the camera and for the page? Where was I? The only one. Was I the only one? All the ones I see love, they scan the sky with hawk's eyes. They find something they gotta kill. Find something to get startled by. Gonna teach my wings to work again on a 60-second distance run. Everyone who holds me close, they're starting fires that block the sun. Was I the only one? Was I the only one? How is it that the busiest streets are usually the quietest space? And that quiet corner place, it always kept us awake. I've been trying every angle, I've been searching through the videotape without a 60-second distance run. If anyone had seen the change, if anyone had seen, if anyone. I woke up blacked out in a snowstorm with an airbag burn on my cheek. Check the wreckage, walk away, okay. I'm unchanged, swearing to him, plowing through the trees. You were in my blind spot. 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 This heart is a cold cave. My mind is a parking lot. Your voice came like a frost quake on the plains. This whole body is a closet filled with hoarded nothings. My soul is a cathedral in an air raid. You were in my blind spot. You were in my blind spot. You were in my blind spot. You were in my trouble with flying. It's the gluing on your feathers. Then there's a body just laying at your feet. Still faithfully yours, unchanged, unhinged. No, we did not ask to be. You were in my blind spot. You were in my blind spot. You were in my blind spot. You were in my blind. You were in my blind spot. You were in my blind spot. You were in my blind spot. You were in my
You're watching Audiotree Live with Field Report. Everyone, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having
I'm
us.
so very happy that you're here.
We've been talking about doing this for a bit.
I know, it's been like, I was going to say, it's been a long time coming.
Yeah.
I remember a year ago, I was like, you got to come in, man. And now here we are.
And I think it was always just not the time.
Yeah,
But today's the day.
today's the day.
It's time, Jess.
It is. And I was going to say that you and I actually met a few years ago when you were on tour with Noah Gunderson. And I walked up to you and I was like, it was the dream of like any songwriter being like, I love your songs and I'm a songwriter too. And you did the thing that everyone hopes for, but no, it never happens. And you were like, can you send me your songs and I'll listen to them and I'll like give you advice. And you did, and it was the best.
Oh.
I still have that email and I read it and I'm like, this is great. But,
Have you been writing lately?
Yeah, I have been. Rick over there has been helping me, but this is about you. So, question.
Well, we're doing this together.
Yeah. Did you have anybody who, when you started out, was like, you know, sort of a mentor figure or someone you sort of like was a sounding board, perhaps?
Man, I was just in a community of people who were doing it way better than me, and so I think I was almost even too embarrassed to do the thing that you did, which is to like actually have the stones to say, hey, this is my work, what do you think?
Mm-hmm.
I was always just too embarrassed to do it because I didn't think it was any good.
Really?
Yeah. And for me, it was almost, it's funny that you talk about that. I really don't have somebody that's like, hey, I've got a new song. What do you think? Mm-hmm. It's like for me, it works better. I don't have any perspective on it until it's been shared with an audience somehow. Mm-hmm. And so once I get it out and get some air on it and get somebody else's breath on it, that's when I can take it back in and be like, okay, I know what needs to happen now. Because this is no good how it is, but it's got strong bones and we can do it. Or you just need to bury this in the yard right now.
Yeah, I was going to ask, have you ever had a song that you're like super excited about, but then you play it for an audience and it just sort of falls flat?
Yes.
Oh, it's the worst feeling. You're like, I have this song and it's going to blow your minds. And then everyone's like, I don't know.
Well, I know, and it's such a funny thing too, as like a songwriter, you know, and because you have to have a little bit of an ego to even like embark down that road. Like you have to think you have something to say or something to offer, and so you can get caught up in that loop too. Like, oh, you just don't understand my genius.
Yeah,
this wasn't for you anyway.
Yeah, like you don't appreciate me anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But the reality is it probably just needs to be tightened up.
Well, yeah.
Try it again.
Yeah.
With a different crowd on a better night. Because you never know. There's different energy in every room on every night. Mm-hmm. And every single person in that room contributes to that energy. And you could have one person who's just like not into it and like, you know, very showy about that. Mm-hmm. And you'll miss the fact that there's a half a dozen people that are super into it and picking up on it. And so, yeah, we're just very sensitive people, you and I.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, yesterday I actually, I played a show and I played a song that I was, really stoked about, and then it just completely went nowhere. And then I was like, well, all right, I guess I'll play the next one.
Does that... Yeah, you just play the next one.
Yeah.
That's the trick, I think.
Yeah, I think you just sort of say, well, okay, and then hope that it doesn't. And for me, I mean, for you, you have so much experience and have so many songs under your belt. But for me, I was just I just hope this doesn't affect the rest of my performance, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing about songs, too, and why I think I've sort of found myself gravitated to that particular form as opposed to, I don't know, painting or film or books or whatever. They're very short. Mm-hmm. You can pack a lot of information and whatever inside this several minute thing, and when it's over, it's done.
Yeah.
And if it's a good one, perhaps there'll be a little glow for a few seconds afterward or whatever. Mm-hmm. But then it's just on to the next one.
Yeah.
I had the most humiliating experience of my career,
what?
a week ago.
Oh no! What happened?
Oh gosh, I shouldn't even talk about it.
I
was gonna scrub it from my memory. Okay, I'll just.
It'll be cathartic. We can talk about it.
So no.
Okay, that's okay. I won't push it.
But
yeah,
I've been wherever everyone has been.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited to hear the next few songs. Thank you again for being here.
Thank you.
Such a pleasure.
Second. You can pad it out if you want to. Okay. When we lit up and left, how the smoke, it must have blew. Pillow to the clouds and back, white, gray, and black for the morning blue. Now we turn it now, depends on who we're lying to. We ate the fruit, learned the truth, spit the pits in the corner of the room. If I knew what I know bouncing off the guardrail, shouting at the wind. We were off our meds, drinking again. We played them like a stolen violin. I knew my outlines and my ends, now I waited for something to kick in. They could not understand, they were embarrassed by sincerity back then. If I knew what I know, so far yet to go. If I knew what I know, so far yet to go. In a flash I was wearing every one of your brand new tattoos. And I took off my shirt like East mold, read upside down what you wrote. Then a car crashed through the wall, and there you were in the room. And the blood-red blood bled out to your outline, and it colored you in. You were close enough to cough on, your breath smelled like creme de menthe. Headstones, dial tones, you said, hey man, where you been? If I knew what I know, so far yet to go. If I knew what I know, so far yet to go. If I knew my hair with your pocket knife. I trust you with my eyes closed. I just need you to try, I don't need you to know. I've learned, but I've been growing. I'm all about the day when we cut it all off and we throw it all away. Forgiveness does not excuse, it just prevents all of the others from destroying you. Never turn around to look back. 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 Never turn around, never turn around, never turn around. Never turn around, never turn around to look back. Never turn around to look back.
You're watching Audiotree Live with Field Report. So building on what we were talking about before, a radio station in Milwaukee did a really cool short documentary on the making of this album. And you all said a lot of really amazing things. And there was one thing that you said that, like, and I think it might have been around the time when you were in DeYarmond Edison, you were saying that you just decided that you didn't have it. Talking about, like, you know, like songwriting and musicianship. What did you mean by that, and how did you arrive to that sort of conclusion?
Well, it's kind of like what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Like, my peer group was just so far ahead of me as far as developing outlets for their observations and worldviews.
Mm-hmm.
It just took me a while longer to get there. And I honestly didn't think I had what it takes or whatever. And so, like, before, like, once that band took off for North Carolina and I stayed in Wisconsin, I sold all my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I got rid of everything. And it was my legitimate intention to just be a real person.
What did you have, like a quote unquote real job?
I did, yeah.
What did you do?
Well, I worked, when I moved to Milwaukee, I got a job at Marquette University
Mm-hmm.
in the Office of Student Affairs. And so I would be the guy who, I would work with student organizations and help them sort of navigate the bureaucracy. So I would, potentially be the guy who was signing the check to Girl Talk for, many thousands of dollars for pushing spacebar.
Yep, I was in one of those groups. I worked with a Chris at my school.
Yeah?
So I know what you're talking about.
Did you go to NACA?
Yes, I did go to NACA.
Some of my darkest hours there.
How so?
It gets bleak.
I can imagine. And the NACA I went to was in Minneapolis. So it was like, is it always in Minneapolis?
No.
Yeah, but it was like really cold and just.
I think my darkest one was in Nashville. It was at that convention center. What's that place called? It's where the Grand Ole Opry used to be. Opryland. And it's just got this, like, piped in air in this, like, fake indoor park, and, like, you walk by the concrete river.
It sounds like
and
it
it's
would bum
great
me
because
out.
all the students are, like, having a good time and they're away, and I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to be doing something different.
Yeah. I can imagine that's where you're like, all right, so maybe this isn't what I should do.
I remember, and I was like, I cannot take any more of this this campus radio or campus activity music with, like, the shtick and Mr. Belding walking around and all that. And so I took a cab into Nashville, because Lord knows this is nowhere near Nashville. It's in Nashville, but it's, like, way away. I took a cab in, and I was still, this is, like, right when the booze was really a big thing. And I went into this Irish bar, and there was nobody there. And I ordered a shepherd's pie, and this guy from France comes in, and he's alone. He's in Nashville, He's a Frenchman. He's in Nashville at an empty Irish bar, like far from the strip, and he and I are just talking about shepherd's pie, getting real drunk.
He was escaping his own NACA. I don't know, man. It all comes together.
It's all one song. Neil Young says it's all one song.
I was gonna ask, what was the straw that broke the camel's back? And I mean, it could have been that pub, really.
Yeah, no. Well, it was honestly, it was like. So songs were starting to happen, like sort of unexpectedly, and I was getting energy from them, and it was feeling like something that was important for me to do. And so then I would trot them out to the open mics, and I became a real regular fixture of one open mic in particular in Milwaukee, at Linneman's in River West, longest running one there. And there I started to reintegrate into a creative community and like meet other songwriters and get bested by them and come back with something better the next week, you know?
That's awesome.
And so, you know, art isn't necessarily a competition, but craftsmanship can be. And craftsmanship is what gets you by when the muse isn't talking. Yeah.
I was going to ask, like, do you think that songwriting talent is, and this is something I think about all the time, and it like, is it something that you can cultivate, or is it, do you have something sort of innately in you?
No, I think it's just an issue of time spent and belief. If you spend enough time at it, eventually you'll get something that you like. And that starts this cycle of belief in self and, I wonder what else is in there. A lot of it is confidence related, I think. I was listening to the radio on the way down here from Milwaukee today, and they were I don't even know what the story was, but it was talking about how, boy, just following every little rivulet here, about how, you know, people in our generation, I'm probably on like the older side of, but I think we're in the same cohort generationally. And this was when our parents and our teachers, there was a big study on self-esteem that came out, and everyone was like, oh, no, that's bogus, that's bunk. But then test results started coming back in, and people were like, actually, all it really takes to be good at anything is to believe that you're good at it. And so I guess we're a function of that. We'll see if the work continues to come. We'll see if my kid's just like, Dad, I'm lousy at all this stuff and I'm fine with it. I don't know.
All right, well, I feel like I could talk forever, but I'm really excited to
hear.
I
am talking.
No, I love it. Seriously, you could continue talking and I would just listen and be like, this is great. But I'm excited to hear the last song. It's one of my favorites on the new album, which is Summertime Songs, out now on Verve Forecast. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. This is all part of the moment. The sunset seemed excessive. 2 hours out of town. In the great expanse of freedom, bound our wrists by all accounts. Who is walking on the wire? Who is on the ground? We were watching one another, gasping out loud, moving air. While the tightrope trembled like a tumbler topped off for a toast so full you can't move it anywhere. Every time, every time. Last night I had a dream. There was tartar on your teeth, and you had me gently with a knife, loosening it free, and spread it all around like sunscreen at the beach. And we were laying there for hours your head resting on my knee, while the late season ice was sneering from the shade. I'm gonna keep you under glass and key, trapped in amber memory, the secret anniversary of a first day. Every time, every time, every time, every time, every time. 'Cause there is someone where I go now who reminds me of how you looked that morning in sunlight when I saw how you looked under glass. How many first days do we have the nerve to wait for? 'Cause I see you every time I go, and every time I think of home, and every time I feel alone, and every time I feel the phone, and every time a plane flies through. I see you every time I think of home, and every time I feel alone, and every time a plane flies low, and every time my cover's blown, and every time I think of home, and every time I feel alone, every time a plane flies low, and every time my cover's blown. I see you every time I go.
This has been Audiotree Live with Field Report. Thank you guys so much for coming in.
Thank you
It
for
has
having
been
us.
so fun. And I want to, get their album, Summertime Songs. It is out now. And they'll also be on tour starting tomorrow at Shuba's with Camp Dogs, an amazing band.
Yeah, they're outstanding.
They're
We can't wait.
so good. I love them. But they'll be going all throughout the U.S., so check that out at fieldreportmusic.com, I think. Mm-hmm. And then I want to thank everyone at Audiotree who keeps us going, the audio engineers and the video and lighting crew.
Yeah, thank you guys.
And thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Thank you very much, everybody.